Chalmers dropped an absolute bomb on the scientific community in 1995 by pointing out that mapping every single neuron in the human brain still fails to explain why a sunset feels beautiful, birthing the hard problem of consciousness and effectively ruining sleep for neuroscientists everywhere.
We possess machines that can track the exact electrical signals bouncing around your cortex when you stub your toe, but science remains utterly clueless about how those sparks translate into the subjective agony of the experience.
The easy problems are things like processing information or reacting to stimuli, which computers can do, but the hard problem is figuring out the inner movie playing behind your eyes.
Philosophers and physicists are getting so desperate to solve this that many are looking backward to an idea proposed by William James in 1898, the transmission theory.
James suggested the brain does not actually generate awareness from scratch.
He argued it functions more like a reducing valve or a permissive organ.
Think of the brain as a radio receiver, tuning into a frequency that already exists.
Neuroscientist David Eagleman uses a brilliant analog for this. Imagine a Kalahari bushman finding a battery-powered radio in the desert.
The bushman listens to the music, opens up the radio, examines the wires, and logically concludes the music is being manufactured by the copper coils inside the box.
If you ask him how those little wires compose a symphony, he cannot explain it because the music is actually a signal being broadcast from miles away.
Our neuroscientists are essentially that bushman, staring at grey matter and wondering how the cells are composing the symphony of human experience.
When you smash a radio with a hammer, the music stops playing in the room.
The broadcast is still out there in the airwaves, untouched by the hammer.
This leads straight into panpsychism, a theory gaining serious traction lately.
Panpsychism sounds like a niche indie band, but it is actually the philosophical stance that consciousness is a fundamental property of the universe, sitting right alongside mass and electromagnetic charge.
Under this framework, every particle has some microscopic sliver of awareness.
We're talking about atoms possessing a primitive sense of being.
Not that an electron is having an existential crisis about its orbital path, but that the raw ingredient of experience is baked into the fabric of reality.
When you clump enough of those ingredients together into a complex structure, like a human brain, you get full-blown self-reflective awareness.
The French philosopher Henri Bergson argued our brains evolved to filter this massive cosmic awareness down to a tiny trickle, just enough to help us find food and avoid predators.
If we constantly felt the vibrations of the entire universe, we would be far too distracted to notice a tiger sneaking up on us.
The brain keeps us focused on survival, shutting out the grander reality.
Text we are examining today uses a stunning metaphor. Imagine ultimate consciousness as an infinite ocean.
The ocean decides to experience itself from different perspectives, so it rises up into countless individual waves.
One wave says it feels strong, another feels broken, another feels alone.
Every single wave is made entirely of water, yet it becomes so obsessed with its temporary shape that it forgets it is the ocean.
We become so overly identified with our specific memories, fears, and job titles that we lose sight of the deeper, silent awareness beneath the noise.
We view ourselves as separate biological machines wandering around a dead universe.
If the brain is a receiver, we are actually the universe experiencing itself from billions of unique vantage points.
Materialists hate this idea, arguing it is practically magic to suggest consciousness exists outside physical matter.
Materialism demands that the organ creates the phenomenon, like the liver producing bile.
Treating awareness like liver bile is a rather unromantic way to view the redness of a sunset or the ache of a broken heart.
The core mystery persists because science relies on third-person observation.
You can measure the speed of a neural transmission, but you cannot put the feeling of nostalgia under a microscope.
We'd have spent centuries trying to solve the riddle of the mind by dissecting the hardware.
Maybe the journey is not about evolving a better brain, but simply remembering what the signal was before the radio turned on.
Send this episode to someone who needs a reminder that they are the entire ocean masquerading as a single.
Introducing Iris, a journey through the unknown in pursuit of the ultimate truth by Emmett, a compelling exploration that will captivate the discerning reader seeking answers beyond the ordinary. Imagine standing on the threshold between the known and the unseen. Emmett's Iris leads you through labyrinths of philosophy, spirituality, and science, challenging every presumption and uncovering gems of wisdom that lie buried in the everyday. With measured eloquence and sharp analysis, Emmett constructs a narrative both personal and universal, inviting readers into a realm where questions matter more than answers. Iris is not merely a book, it is an invitation to awaken, confront uncertainties, and define your ultimate truth. Entrepreneurs, professionals, thinkers, and seekers, Iris is the essential volume for those who desire clarity amidst complexity, crafted for minds unafraid of embarking on a profound journey. Now available on Amazon. Discover a pathway to enlightenment, fresh perspective, and self-realization. Visit www.emmettpublications.com to learn more. Iris, where the unknown becomes the first step towards your truth.